Now, India today has accessed Ministry of Home Affairs letter to the Punjab police. The MHA letters there warned of Kisan protests. 3 MHA letters, which Punjab cops have blatantly ignored, shows that the centre has warned the Punjab police on farmers protesting. In fact, the letters which India today has accessed here shows clearly that the centre wanted Punjab police to make diversion plans in case there was a protest to disrupt their convoy. Unfortunately here, the Punjab police have miserably failed. India Today exclusive have accessed the letters here to, in fact, what the centre had written to the Punjab police. The Ministry of Home Affairs had very well warned the Punjab police much in advance that there could be protests by Kisan unions, and there were 3 letters that the MHA had already shot to the Punjab police, very clearly requesting for an alternative route, a diversionary plan in case such an incident takes place. Here, very clearly, huge lapse by the Punjab police and the Punjab government. Undoubtedly, this comes as a state subject. They've got to be ensuring, in fact, all kinds of security. It should be their priority that security must be kept tight when the Prime Minister is in the state and the convoy is passing all through his visit there. But despite 3 letters being shot to the police of Punjab, it doesn't seem like there was much cognizance that was taken. In fact, Kamalji joining us live with more on that. Kamalji, India Today exclusively accesses those letters, MHA's letters to the Punjab police, where they warn very clearly that Kisan unions may be protesting. We do not want to be stuck or blocked off. 3 MHA letters there, very well indicating that there could be protests there, and they've also asked for a diversionary plan. Despite that, we saw that what really the reality on ground was so entirely different.
Well, the Prime Minister's security is also taken care by the Blue Book rule. The SPG follows that. There's an advanced security liaison team. They were there 3 days in advance. There was a lot of talk. There were letters which were shot off because 9 farmer unions had already made it very public that they are going to protest against Modi's rally. And they said they will cut off routes. And this is where the weather reports were also in that the weather will be inclement. Heavy rains were predicted. Temperatures had plummeted. And in between, there were also plans on the chopper. Now, what we've been told is as soon as the Prime Minister got down from Bathinda, there were heavy rains, and that is why he decided to go by road. Now, there is diversions as far as a version is concerned between what Punjab government says and what the centre says. The centre says we shot off the letter, we warned them in advance, we told them make a contingency plan that the road route should be ready. That despite all that, they were not prepared, and almost 250 to 300 tractors, buses, farmers, they could all block the convoy of the Prime Minister. The other bit is what the Chief Minister has been saying, that despite warning of the farmers' protest, that they had forewarned both the SPG and the Prime Minister, he decided to take a call to go by road. Remember, there's also an allegation regarding the Chief Secretary and DGP not really present, while Manpreet Badal, the Finance Minister, was present there, no other official. We've been also told by Punjab Police in a diversion version is that they were waiting at the first stop, which is the Hussaini-Wala border. So clearly, there are allegations and counter-allegations. One side has issued the letters. We also know that Punjab Police is preparing a report which is going to be sent back to the MHA. The Supreme Court has already taken cognizance of the matter. So yes, this is going to be big news in the coming few days. But yes, as far as the security lapse is concerned, there's no denying that Punjab Police did show laxity. There should have been a clearance or a clear route as far as the Prime Minister's convoy is concerned, and that seemed to be lacking. And clearly, despite anticipation from the farmers' group, there were lathis. There was a clear instruction, no firing would be done. This is also something they could have persuaded the farmers to go off-road to allow the Prime Minister's convoy to go. Meanwhile, the farmers have issued the statement saying that it was a low rally turnout, and that is why the farmers are really being blamed. They were only protesting peacefully. So multiple versions coming out, but centre taking on Punjab government saying that there was laxity as far as Prime Minister's security is there, and letters were ignored by the centre, by the state government.
Well, here it's absolutely shocking, Kamaljeet. But if you can give us some details into what was exactly mentioned on that letter, do quote what the letter had to say. They've asked for a diversionary plan as well, which it appears that they very well anticipated that farmers would be protesting. Even if the police denied it, what we saw on ground was reality, which the SPG or the Ministry of Home Affairs had already anticipated much in advance. It's shocking to even imagine that the Punjab police had no whiff of it.
See, the proximity.
All right, I'm going to try and patch Kamaljeet there. Here, shockingly, 3 letters were shot by the Ministry of Home Affairs to the Punjab police, asking, or in fact indicating very clearly that there could be farmers who will protest. Prime Minister Modi's cavalcade will be going by road. Of course, that was a last-minute change in plan. He was supposed to be taking the chopper. Due to bad weather, he decided to take the road. But a good 20 to 30 minutes, a decision was made, clearances were given, and that's when he took the road to reach the spot. But before that itself, the Ministry of Home Affairs had shot letters to the Punjab government and the police there, very clearly mentioning and warning of Kisan protests. 3 MHA letters, which India Today has accessed exclusively. 3 MHA letters here, which says that Punjab cops completely ignored the centre's warning. The letters here, which India Today has accessed, shows very clearly that the centre, the Ministry of Home Affairs, had already asked the Punjab police to make diversion plans in case of an eventuality like that. But none of that was made. In fact, at a flyover itself, the convoy was blocked off. Unfortunately, wasn't able to move further. It had to take a whole U-turn and head back towards the Bathinda airport. That was a massive security breach, a huge security lapse, and this has happened in the home state, the bastion of the Congress. The Congress leaders, of course, trying to dismiss it, saying that this was just Modi's way to try and skip the rally because of a low turnout, because, as they call it, a flop rally that was due to happen. And to save their embarrassment, the Prime Minister went back. That's their explanation, absolutely unsatisfactory, and does not establish or justify their security lapse entirely, which is the state subject. In fact, it is for the state government to ensure adequate security to the Prime Minister, who is the most important person or most important man of the country. Here, clearly, despite protocols that they must be ensuring tight security and adhere to the SPG's directions, they have failed miserably. 3 internal letters that was sent out to the government, to the Channi government, to the Punjab police, that very clearly suggested that there could be Kisan protesters. And we know the kind of animosity right now between the farmer unions and the centre. Despite the centre rolling back the farm laws, nonetheless, we see that the farmer unions, many of them, some of them, of course, have gone back to their work, gone back to doing their duties. A few farmer unions still angry and upset over the last year's protest over the farm laws, despite it being rolled back. In fact, many of them have been protesting at various platforms even till date. And here, clearly, when the Prime Minister's convoy reached Punjab, Bathinda was on his way to the National Martyrs Memorial there. 30 kilometers ahead of that memorial, the farmer unions managed to block off a flyover itself where the Prime Minister was passing by. And this, surprisingly, was not flagged off by the Punjab police. They had no idea that this was supposed to happen. There was a 20-minute wait of the Prime Minister's convoy on that flyover. Eventually, he had to roll back to the Bathinda airport. In fact, while the Prime Minister was leaving, he's said to have told the Bathinda airport authorities that, "Thank your Chief Minister Channi, at least I reached back the Bathinda airport alive." This was almost a mockery of sorts. While the Prime Minister said that, he's almost sarcastically, angrily spoken to the airport officials, saying that at least I'm thankful that I'm back to Bathinda airport alive. Farmer protesters, farmer unions have been protesting extensively against the Modi government owing to the farm laws. And clearly, this was anticipated by the Ministry of Home Affairs. 3 letters detailed letters were sent out to the Punjab police as well as the Channi government there, anticipating that Kisan protesters could probably block pathways and to ensure that the passage is safe for the Prime Minister's convoy to pass. 3 MHA letters to Punjab has been struck down, clearly completely ignored. In fact, the letters very well warned of any kind of disruption that could take place and also asked the Punjab police in that letter very clearly for a diversion plan. But none of that was met with. It seems like those 3 letters by the Ministry of Home Affairs was completely struck down by the Channi government.